Welcome to Echoes International podcast, with teaching, interviews and stories of what God is doing straight from the mission field and also within the UK. For more podcasts, stories and opportunities to get involved, check out our website at echoesinternational.org.uk and our other social media channels.
I'm Rebecca Atala, and I've been working among the poor here in Cairo for about 39 years now. I'm actually Canadian, but married an Egyptian when we were both students at McGill University in Montreal. And after a few years of marriage and 2 children, we moved to Egypt in 1980. My husband works for the Egyptian Bible Society, but I've always worked among different groups of poor people here in Cairo. The one that I'm probably the best known for is my work with the Garbage Village, and where presently I'm helping to head up a center for handicapped and disabled and challenged children and teenagers, kids with special needs from the Garbage Village, where there's no other help for such children in the whole area, even outside the Garbage Village. But the one I want to talk to you about today is my work with Sudanese refugees, and especially through a school called the Sudanese Displaced Children's Learning Center. It's kind of a long one, so we just call it the SDCLC. And this is a school that we have for Sudanese kids, Sudanese refugee kids, because they aren't actually able to be part of the government system of education in Egypt, which is overcrowded. And so different groups, especially church type groups, have schools for them, because there are hundreds of thousands of Sudanese refugees here in Egypt. Without schools like ours, there would be no education for these kids at all. Our school is in a formerly squatters area, a poor area of Cairo, which is inhabited by many, many thousands of Sudanese refugees. And it is in the English language. Some of the schools here are Arabic, some are English. We follow the Sudanese system of education, which means we have 11 grades, and our school starts with kindergarten. So in all, we have 12 years for these kids to go to. And in many cases, actually some of our teachers, and even some of the administration of our school are children who have graduated from our school, which of course we love. We love to have people like that serving their own people through the same school that they graduated from. I'm going to show you a video to start with that will explain quite a bit about the school, and you'll see a bunch of shots of the kids, and then I'll tell you more about things at the school and some of the miracles that God has done for us, especially in the last year.
We left Sudan since July 26, 2001, because my dad was being arrested and he was being detained, I think, for a month or a month and a half because of his color of the skin, black, and because of his religion. In total, we have 253 students approximately. Most of the children here, they're all refugees, and some of them, they have the single parents. Their mothers died in the war or their fathers died, and they can't go back to Sudan. If they go back, they will immediately be killed.
wanted to work with the Sudanese because they're refugees, and in a country like Egypt that's so poor, there's nothing left for refugees from other countries. I love working with the Sudanese because they just inspire me. The people who have the least are the ones that have the biggest smiles, and every time I come to the school, I go away feeling how fortunate I am, and just so blessed by the Sudanese. I just love being part of it.
My name is Shizer, I'm 11 years old.
My name is Fanuel Gideon.
My name is Michelle.
My favorite subject in school is science and English.
Right up to school, I like to read.
My teachers are nice and fun.
Every day, I love learning in the school.
The school is good for my future.
I born in Egypt and I'm Sudanese. This is my school.
It's all about Christ, it's all about Christianity. We talk about the Bible because whatever we do, if we do not associate this with the Bible, it will not help anything else. So Jesus is everywhere, it's in our lives. These kids, they have wonderful voice, they have talents, they just need someone to tell them that you have something inside of you. So they need to feel confident. So I feel that these kids, they have wonderful things in their lives, but they just need someone to tell them that you do have this. You need to show them outside to the world.
We really need help and we need donation, because if there are people that they can give hand for the school, for the existence of this school, it will be really very nice, because we also want to have like a music class for these children, and we want to have a computer class for the children. And if there's possibilities, we can also extend the school. The money that been donated by people outside, so we use it for the renting of the place, and we use it for salaries. Teachers be able to get something to pay their rent, and also for the students to buy breakfast for them. We are using that money for also utilities like electricity and water bills and everything.
The SDCLC started in a very interesting way. There were a couple of Sudanese refugees who were living in Egypt, and it was here that they first heard of Jesus. This man and his wife, having given their lives to the Lord, started looking around them and realizing that all the other Sudanese refugee kids in their area had no place to go to school. And so they opened up their home to them, and they actually started the school in their living room. But obviously, the school grew much too fast to be confined to that one small apartment. And fortunately, they were able to find some expats who were living also in Cairo and wanted to help with such a project. At that time, there were almost no Sudanese schools in Egypt. Maybe there were none, I'm not sure. But it was about 25 years ago. And so, after a while, they were able to rent a facility, if you can call it that. It was actually 11 huts with a courtyard in the middle. And in those days, it was a totally squalid area and an area of squatters. And these huts were where people were used to living and sharing the courtyard for bathroom, for cooking, etc. Well, it became the school. And for many years, it remained the school. But meanwhile, I joined the board. just another expat, was the one who actually started the board. And we started realizing that the place was falling down. And in fact, before we ended up moving, 2 of the classrooms had totally caved in. And so we only had 9 classrooms, and of course 1 bathroom, and of course 1 very small kitchen. So what happened then, and this was the first of the things that I always find God does to surprise us. He sometimes kind of forces us to move. He forces us to do something better when we think that we're doing good enough. Well, what happened is that the man decided he was going to sell that piece of land to build a large high-rise on. And so he told us we had to move. So what were we going to do? We were really, really befuddled, not knowing what to do. But God opened up a facility, and this was another miracle, because in Egypt, buildings are built with people in mind. People pay for part of the apartment, and then that apartment is built. But we actually managed to find a building that had nobody living in it. In fact, it wasn't even finished yet, and we were the ones that helped finish it. So that remained, or became our school for 12 years. And then I guess God decided that He wanted better for these kids. And we found that one day, and this happened about 2.5 years ago, the owner of that building came to us and said, I decided to sell this building. Would you like to buy it? Well, this was really asking a lot of faith from the board. We had no idea how we could do such a thing, but he offered us a good price. So we started praying about it, and we just sent out a few little letters, and within 3 weeks we had been promised enough money to pay for that building. And we realized, wow, it must be that God's opening this door. It must be that He's telling us it's time to do something new. But when we bought the building, we knew that it had need of repair. And one of the things we wanted to do, from the beginning we said we'd have to add a staircase, because by then there were 300 people using that building and only 1 staircase, which of course was dangerous. So we started the repairs. In our mind, we were just going to add a staircase. But again, God knew much better than we what the real need was. And what actually happened was that we ended up doing a full restoration, or repairs and restoration of that building. We started working on the foundation, discovered that the foundation had big problems. Then we started, after 3 months of working on the foundation, then it was going upstairs, discovering that one of the ceilings of one of the whole floors was about to fall in. And again and again, our engineers found things drastically wrong with that building. God knew that. God knew that that place was not safe for our kids. But if He hadn't forced us to buy it, we of course would never have dreamed of making these repairs. In all, it took a lot more money than we had thought of course. It took a lot more time. We had to rent another facility to put the children in for a whole school year. It was an enormous project. And looking back, I say to myself, and I've said to the board, I would never have done this if I had known what it would entail. I didn't have that much faith. But the Lord wanted it for these kids. And the building has been finished now for about 2 months. It's lovely. It's much bigger than it was because we were able to also make it bigger to bring in the balconies and things like that. It's much nicer than it was. And the important thing is it's safe. It is now a safe building. I believe that this building will last for years and years as an education center for these children in this poor area. And I just praise the Lord for it, because like I said, it was God's plan, and it was God who wanted it to happen, and it was God that made it happen. Now, of course, it's given us a lot of financial, problems, because we had to take all the money that we had saved and of course raise a lot more too. So as a result, we don't actually have enough to pay our bills every month now for more than a month or two at a time. So we do need donations. We do need people to come alongside us and help us to continue educating these kids. I think I told you we have 300 kids now, 11 grades plus kindergarten, 22 teachers, cleaning staff, etc. And we've become a center also for the Sudanese community around us, because it's such a lovely building that they come and hold events in our place, in our school. I think that God is behind this project, and I'd love to ask you to step in and to help us with the financial needs, and to help keep praying for us that God will continue to allow us to do this very important job of educating Sudanese kids in this poor area of Cairo for many, many years to come. You can support us through Echoes, by the way. Echoes, praise the Lord, has really stood beside us during all this time. If you have any more questions, I'll be there at our Zoom meeting at the end of the month, and I'd be very happy to answer them. Thank you so much.
We hope you're encouraged and inspired and ready to answer the call. Thank you for listening.